Alright, the VITA Easyshade 5. It's got an inductive charger, so there's no more putting it on a post to charge it. It just rests right here on the white holder. It's got a calibration block built in. It's very simple to use. Calibrates. It's ready to go. What's new with this unit is it's got a touch screen, so it's easy to scroll through options, settings, memory, setup, but the most basic use would be to select what you're going to be measuring. So the top here is measuring a basic shade of a tooth, one spot on a tooth. The second choice here would be to do an average where you can measure a lot of different spots, and then breaking into the neck, the middle, and the incisal third. You can verify a restoration, whether you're in the lab for QC, or if you get a restoration back from the laboratory. Before you seat it, you can make sure the shade matches what your prescription was. And so in this case, let's go ahead and measure a shade of a natural tooth. And what we would do is put this directly on the surface of the tooth. Okay, so the shade result displays. Right now it's showing me the bleach shade. So in this case it would be a D4 or 4M1 in our 3D Master Shade system. So it displays the classical and the 3D Master Shade. If you're using a CAD/CAM material, it shows the nearest block shade. And then if you're tracking bleaching progress, there's another toggle here which shows me on the scale of 1 to 29 bleaching shades that in this case the patient's a 17. So for tracking a bleaching regimen, you can do the whitening, measure again, and see how many shades lighter the patient is. That's pretty much the basics of chairside shade measurement. Now another option is when you get a crown and you tell it you want to verify a crown, you actually enter the shade of the crown you're measuring. So in this case, you're able to scroll through the various shades, which is a new function, the way this touch screen works. So we can say, okay, let's say I prescribed a 2M1 3D Master Shade. So we have a crown, the doctor asks for a 2M1, he wants to make sure it's accurate before he places it. So we're going to measure one more time our patient here, and we know he's not a 2M1. Now, actually what I would normally be doing is measuring the restoration. I don't have a crown to measure at this point, so we're just using the natural tooth, pretending it's a restoration. So this is really interesting. What makes this unique over the previous unit, it displays a 2M1, that's the shade we desired, but you see there's a red bar here. There's green, yellow, and red. Very intuitive. Green is go, yellow is A, watch out, and red is it's not a match. And now if I wanted to go a little deeper, as a technician or a dentist, and find out why it didn't match, I've got my value, chroma, and hue. This is telling me the L, which is my value, that it's too dark, that the chroma is actually quite good. It's right in the middle here. And the hue is actually also quite good. It's a little bit too much toward the red of a natural tooth color. Maybe add a little bit more yellow to lighten it up and lighten up the value as well. So you can know, you know what to do when you're applying external stains or having a laboratory adjust. It tells you exactly what you need to do to correct it. It also has a new interesting display here. It says E, and that's delta E. Basically, the human eye has a difficulty distinguishing more than 2 delta E when it comes to color. In this case, we're seeing an indication of 11, which is basically telling us it's a drastic difference. We want that to be 2 or less. So it's a little bit of color theory that it contains. It's certainly not required. You don't really need to know everything about color theory to use the device, but it's very handy when you want to learn about external staining or redoing the shade. It gives you the opportunity to indicate exactly to the technician what went wrong. That's really it in a nutshell. One thing that's going to go live quite soon, though, is there's an app in the Play Store for Android devices where you can take a picture of the patient, and then this can wirelessly transmit data through the app to the laboratory's cell phone or his Android-enabled mobile device. And what will appear on the mobile device is a picture of the patient's smile with the shade map indicated on it. So there'll be a circle and line, so it's a very quick, easy way to communicate with your shade counterpart, the shade, and the picture of the smile. So that's actually going to be going live in May of this year, and we'll be displaying this, it's in use at the show in California.